I mean, I'm a fairly straight down the line person, working. I had a good job at DCU. I'd gone back to work after having my daughter, Neve. My husband teaches engineering at DCU. We had Neve, and I went back to work when she was 5, when she started school. We'd leave her with Daniel's parents, and my husband's parents. His mother would pick her up after school, and I'd collect her after work. Last year, she was down to learn how to swim. The school had a thing. They'd take the class down to the CRC in Clontarf on Wednesdays. She was learning very well. No problem, loved the water. She couldn't wait for Wednesdays and swimming. Daniel used to take her to the pool on a Saturday and everything. But for such a bright, outgoing, happy girl, she was a big gun. She had a problem sleeping at night. She was scared of the dark, and she never wanted you to leave the room. One of us would always have to stay with her until she went off, and even if she did, she'd often have to come in and sleep with us. And I mean, I'd say to her, like, what's wrong when you go to bed? In the daytime, she didn't care. Nighttime was a million miles away. She never even thought about it. But at night, there were people at the window. There were people in the attic. There was someone coming up the stairs. And there was a man across the road who she see, like, there was loads of things. Poor girl. I wanted to bring her to the doctor, but Daniel said she'd grow out of it. We should just be careful what books we got her and what she saw on telly and all of this. But I mean, she was even scared that she'd wake up one morning and Mammy and Daddy would have gone away and left her. I mean, that was when she told Daniel's mother that the furniture and the carpets and everything had be gone. And I mean, I said to her, that we'd never, it was ridiculous. And I said to her after that if ever she was scared during the day to ring me and I'd come and get her. And I mean, she knew our numbers. She was very good at learning numbers off. She knew ours and her nana's and mine at work. She knew them all. But then in March last year, the school had a sponsored swim. The kids were going to swim a length of the pool. And I promised I'd go and watch her. But I was late out of work, and I was only going to be there in time to meet her afterwards. Well, when I got there was an ambulance. But I mean, like, the pool's at the Central Media Clinic. Like, I thought it was probably just somebody being dropped there. I didn't really pay much attention. But when I got in, I could see there was no one in the pool, and there was a teacher with a group of kids, and the teacher was crying, and some of the children were crying. And a woman, like one of the mums, came over and said to me that there had been an accident. And Neve had hit her head in the pool and was in the water, and they were trying to resuscitate her. But I mean, she said she'd be all right. I didn't believe it was happening at first. I mean, I thought it must be someone else. But I was brought into a room, and Neve was on a table. It was a table for table tennis. And the ambulance man was trying to give her the kiss of life. Neve was in her bathing suit, and the ambulance man said he didn't think what he was doing was working. And he didn't know she was still alive. And he wrapped her in a towel and took her out to the ambulance. And I got in the back with him. And they radioed on ahead. They were going to put her on a machine in Beaumont and try and revive her there. But the ambulance man knew, I think. She wasn't breathing and he just knew. And he said to me if I wanted to say goodbye to her in the ambulance, in case I didn't get a chance to the hospital. So I gave her a little hug. She was freezing cold. And I told her Mommy loved her very much. She just looked like she was asleep. But her lips were blue and she was dead. And it all happened so fast, just a few minutes. And I don't have to tell you how hard it was. Between me and Daniel as well. I mean, it didn't seem real. Even at her funeral, I thought I could just go up and lift her out of her coffin and not be an end to all this. But Daniel was... I don't know if he blamed me, but there was nothing I could do. Daniel was very busy in his work, keeping himself, you know. Whereas I was more... I didn't know what I was doing. Just walking around already. Sitting in the house with Daniel's mother, fussing around the place. Just months of this, just not already talking about it, like. Then one morning, I was in bed and Daniel had gone to work. And I used to lie there for hours, just trying to stay asleep, I suppose. And the phone rang. And it rang for a long time. And I left it, I wasn't going to get it. Eventually it stopped. And I was just dropping off again, and the phone started ringing again, and it rang for a long time, and I thought it must be Daniel or someone that knew I was there, like, so I thought I'd better get it. So I answered it, and it was a very faint line, like a cross line, and I could hear voices, but I couldn't really tell what they were saying. And then I heard Neve. And she said, "Mommy." And I said, you know, like, yeah. And she wanted me to come and collect her. And I mean, I didn't know if it was a dream or her leaving us was a dream. But I said, you know, like, where are you? And she said she thought she was in Nana's house in the bedroom, but Nana wasn't there. And she was scared. And she could hear children knocking in the wall. And the man across the road was looking up at her and was going to cross the road. And would I come and get her? And I said I would, of course I would. And I dropped the phone, and I ran out to the car in just a t-shirt that I slept in. And I drove to Daniel's mother's house, and I could hardly see her. I was crying so much. I mean, I knew she wasn't going to be there. I knew she was gone. But to think that wherever she was, that... and there was nothing I could do about it. Daniel's mother called the doctor, and I slept for a day or two. Daniel thought that I just needed to face up to the fact Niamh had gone. Whereas I thought Daniel needed to face up to what happened to me. Daniel insisted that I needed to get treatment and that everything would be okay. But I mean, what can help that? If she's out there, she still needs me.